trying to get answers from. A public inquest is the thing that the Hillsborough...
You mean the same government who gives no shit?
Right, exactly. The same government that has one rule and one standard for people who are affluent, who have money, or who are their constituency voters, and one rule for people who aren't their voters.
So you need to really
remember this.
Jeremy Corbyn, remember that name, yeah?
Outnumber the affluent people in this area by 2 to 1, right? The upside to this is for the same amount of land mass, we've got 3 times as many people. For the same amount of land mass, you talk about land, I call it the parish of Lansdowne, because that's where St John's Church is. You've got Lansdowne Rise, Lansdowne Crescent, Lansdowne Walk, you know, everything's called Lansdowne around there. £3 million houses in a radius of half a mile. But it's only 800 houses. There's 800 houses in that estate alone, and in a smaller area. We outnumber them 2 to 1, right? The Conservatives have been winning the elections for this area by majorities of 8,000, 10,000. But hang on, why is that? It's only because we think we're so disenfranchised, we think our vote don't count. All of a sudden, we win the vote by 20 votes. 16,333 to 16,330. We didn't win by 20 votes. We wiped out an 8,000 deficit, so it was 8,020 votes. 8,000 people who voted. And if everyone continued to vote, it would be 8,000 plus. You've got to remember something. Sometimes you might not like the game, but you still got to play by the rules. And the reason these people have been ignored is because they think that they're not going to vote for them, right? So I'm not going to bother with you because you don't vote and you don't vote for me, right? If they think you vote, they're going to try and win it. But if they know you vote, they're going to listen to you because you're going to get them out. Remember, they're sitting comfortably in these seats. They're elected. Do you know that Robert Black makes more than the Prime Minister, as awful as she is? What's the Prime Minister on? 142,000 or something like that. Or, you know, it's publicly available information. That's about how much it is. Robert Black's on double that. For what? He needs to resign. His position's untenable. You cannot allow decisions like this to be made on your watch, right? And not fall on your sword. You have to fall on your sword, right? If like how they have in schools, you've got a governor's committee where the head teacher has an idea, right? Or a head teacher has a proposal, and they've said, I've got this company that I want to commission to do it. The board of governors has to sit over it and say yes, talk it through and then agree it before they can go ahead for anything over a certain amount. We are the board of trustees for each of these buildings, right? So they should be consulting us, taking a vote, and then making a decision, right? If they had asked us, what sort of cladding do you want? Right? And they gave us an option of you can have the cheaper cladding and it ain't going to cost you more, or you can have the slightly more expensive cladding but your rent's going to go up by 1%. Let's just say for argument's sake, and taking into account their corporate mindset, they would have done. What would you have picked? You're not going to jeopardise someone's safety. Yet they thought to cut corners, save money. You know what? We'll put it up. We'll put it up. You know, they won't know the difference. You know, they haven't got a voice, and we just ignore them anyway. We just ignore them anyway, because that's what they've done. You know, like I said before, my mum. I grew up in the TMO building, Hurstway Walk. My mum used to call...
Is it Melvin or
Melvin? Melvyn, right? My mum used to call the TMO, weeks and weeks they would turn up. Then some lackadaisical person would turn up and be like, you know what, I ain't got the part. I'm going to report it back to the office and someone will come back in a little while. Months things would go on for, right? My mum used to write. My mum came over from this country, from Grenada, right? So although she could speak well enough, her writing skills were awful, right? Because she's come from a different country. So 9 years old, she's saying to me, Melvin, can you write this letter for me? This is what I want to say. And that's how I learnt to write letters. That's how I learnt to write, because my mum was giving me a real life situation to tell, and the words to say what to write, and I was writing it. So I grew up learning that we had to harass these people to get what we wanted. Yeah, and that's what everybody needs to do. Whether you're Octavia, whether you're Portobello Trust, whether you're Notting Hill Housing, whether you're Westminster Council, whether you're Tower Hamlets Homes,
do believe that
you have to be harassing them.
I do
and
believe
threaten
that
them with legal actions.
a colour.
Threaten them with legal actions.
I do believe that a colour, bad boy, a colour. I think he's got the right attitude. People really seriously have to stop this mouth beating thing and mobilise. You have to.
Remember, collectively.
Everybody, we've got to do it, you know, because we have the power to change what's going on. At the end of the day, they're voting for us to keep them in. Yeah. So we have the power. If we don't vote, then what happens? So
power to the people.
Exactly, we've got to keep doing this.
Tomorrow, if no one went to work tomorrow, the city stands still. Yeah.
I hate your team, fam, but it's cool. Yeah.
You got people. I worked, like I said, I worked in Tower Hamlets for 4 years. How is this possible? They've got the highest average wages in the country. Yet they got some of the poorest people in the country as well.
And
that's
crazy.
Because they built Canary Wharf on Tower Hamlets land.
Some people like me that rail
but they keep it segregated. And we've got a similar situation here. You go that side of Holland Park Avenue, you've got £3-4 million houses. In fact, the most expensive flat in the world got sold in Holland Park for 100 million a couple of years ago. And there's a divide. Once you cross that divide, they're treating us different. We cannot be in 2017 and saying that we want racial equality, gender equality, you know, sexual equality, all of those things, when we've got one rule for the voters and leaseholders and affluence, and we've got another rule for social housing and all of those things there.
Melvin with a Y.
Yeah, Melvin with a Y. Yeah. We can't have that. It's 2017. If any one of you people are responsible for the lives and the living conditions of other people, forget about your own area. Let's just say you relocated to Manchester and you were suddenly responsible for social housing in Manchester. Do you think that you would have taken part or been any part of the decision making that had any possibility of amounting to this? No, you wouldn't. You know why? Because you're people who have a conscience. You're people who know what it's like to be amongst other people. These people in their ivory towers, their drawbridges go up and the world's all right with them. Yeah, they don't mingle with us. But the thing is, like I said, this is our area. Yeah, you are the people that made it great. Your parents are the people that made it great. They're the people that turned Portobello Market into the thing that it is. They're the people that put on Notting Hill Carnival. They're the people that put on the community events, the Methodist Church, the Christian Centre, Harrow Club, Rugby Portobello Trust. These are the first places to open up, and nobody organised. People just turn up, right? Bodies just turn up. The people that should be organising still haven't organised. Why is that? They're still not here. They're still not here, not saying nothing. Still not to put out their one statement, and this is, you know, Paget Brown and one of his lackeys saying, we did what we felt, or we did what we felt was necessary. That's a very thinly veiled excuse to saying we satisfied ourselves. Because if you did what was necessary, you would have got an independent body. And I know, having been project manager of large IT systems in my time, where we cannot audit our own work. We have to get other people to audit our work. That's IT, right? These are buildings. If you're not getting somebody independent or a third party to audit your work, you're corrupt. That's it. You're cutting corners and you're corrupt, because if you don't have an independent audit, you don't have something to tell you this is what's wrong, this is what you need to put right, and this is what you need to focus on. We're the only country in Europe that doesn't have regulations on room sizes, window sizes, and all of that. Yeah, they don't want it. There was a motion that was put in Parliament to say, we want a law that has a regulation to make all accommodation for every type of resident legally safe, right? It was voted down by 2-1 in the House of Commons, or two-thirds majority, or whatever it is.
Why is that? Because it costs money.
Why is that? Because of the money that it would cost the landlords to put the things right, to make those things legally habitable. But make no mistake, they all had vested interests. Over 71 Conservative members, right? Over 71 Conservative members are landlords, and they have to declare that as a financial interest. And not only is it a financial interest, they make each of them make over £10,000 a year off that financial interest. So not only did they vote against it because they didn't want to improve the lives of everybody, but they also did it because they had a vested interest, which meant they would have had to spend money out of their own pocket to put those things right on the properties that they own. That's completely corrupt. As far as I'm concerned, you can't own a property and be able to vote on matters concerning housing. You can't do that. Like I said before, that would be like me holding an auction, here's what you can win, and me winning the auction. You can't do that, that's corruption. If we had an auction right now, here's what you can win, this gold statue. Oh look, here's my number, I've won. You'd be in uproar. That's basically what's happening in the House of Commons. These motions are getting passed, and they're being voted on not for the benefit of their constituency, but for the benefit of their own selves and their people. They're voting based on how is this going to affect me and my pocket. They're not thinking about the many, they're thinking about the few. Yeah. That's why you need to owe it. You owe it to the people that are still in there, the people that got out, and every single day, in the weeks and months when the cameras are switched off, yeah, you need to be making phone calls. You need to say, excuse me, I want to know who my councillor is. I want to know who my director of housing is. I want to know who's head of my local authority. You need to ask these questions. Freedom of information, they have to give it to you by law. They're public sector servants, right? You need to be asking those questions. You need to be sending emails, even if they're one line and annoying. This is my freedom of information request. I want to find out how much money you've made from rent off me or this building in the past year. 42 days, they have to respond to it. That is a legal requirement. They will take longer than 42 days because they're incompetent, right? They will take longer than 42 days, but they have a legal requirement, which means you can actually sue them if they take longer than 42 days, right? These are all, like I say, you might hate the game, but sometimes you got to play their game, right? You might hate the game, but sometimes you got to play by their rules. Freedom, it can be a one-line freedom of information request, and I'm telling you that because when I worked for Tower Hamlets, I sat opposite a team called Information Governance. Every single local authority has one, and it is a statutory provision where they deal with freedom of information requests. And they can get some silly things, but they still have to respond to it. I know this because the person I sat opposite has told me some stories. He even got one story that said, are you adequately equipped in the event of an alien invasion? It's a freedom of information request, they've still got to answer it. It could be as ridiculous as you want, yeah? Ask questions that are relevant, ask questions that are irrelevant. Make sure you let them know that you are present, because that is the number one thing that we need to do from this day forth, right? Make yourself seen, make yourself heard. I've been guilty of it myself, and I feel ashamed of it, where there's been meetings about, you know, what's happening about the redevelopment, and, you know, I could have left work 10 minutes earlier to make it, or I've got home and thought, you know what, I'm home now, and I haven't gone. But that makes me complicit in the decisions that were made and that have turned out in this. That makes me complicit, even in a small way, because there was an opportunity for me to turn up and make myself.
People do talk here, but no one listens. They're not going to listen.
No. But that's because it's numbers. When there's only 10
if there's only one man in his own.
When there's a TMO meeting, a Kensington and Chelsea TMO meeting, and only 10 people turn up, and there's a block.
We can make a change.
No, you can't.
We can make a change, man. It's collective. You can. If everybody.
They're trying.
No.
Right now.
Every dreadlock is stronger than one strand.
Everybody, right?
Everybody.
The moment, right?
The change.
I'll give you an example. I will give you an example. If every one of you got a parking ticket, right? Every one of you got a parking ticket, and none of you paid it, you think they could enforce it?
Exactly.
No, they can't.
Just
No, they
like
can't.
No, they
No, they
couldn't.
cannot.
No, they couldn't.
No. I tell you when they can enforce it. No. I tell you when they can enforce it is when one person pays it because it legitimizes it. And that is the problem.
That is
when
our
one
problem.
person does something different, they can say, well, these people are playing by the rules, or these people agree with it, you lot need to conform. If nobody did it, they couldn't say nothing. This whole thing about strike, right? I don't particularly agree with striking, but it's a necessary thing. The problem with it is it holds everybody else to ransom, and it's a bit misguided, right? But if the whole city, just said, you know what, I'm not having this, I'm not going up to work.
Everybody didn't go to work one day.
The thing is, everyone's got to do it. Everyone's got to do it. That is the problem. Drawbridge mentality.
Too many people
castle mentality.
we live in fear.
Drawbridge goes up, and you think it's not happening to me, but it has happened to us. Everybody who can see that building, it's happened to us. Yeah? People living in Shepherd's Bush, it's happened to them. People living on the other side of town, it's happened to them. Because we have drawbridge mentality. They've taught us to have drawbridge mentality. You know why? Because they've got drawbridge mentality. They close their gated communities and they shut the world out. They've got concierges on their buildings so you can't even go in. Yeah? They've got drawbridge mentality. They want us to have drawbridge mentality.
They've got the power.
They haven't got the power.
People have the power.
No. They've got the power because we give them the power.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got the power because we give them the
relinquish
power.
it too often.
Percent versus 99.
Right.
They've got the power.
Yeah.
They've got the
No. They haven't got the power. The only reason they've got the money, talk. And what they've taught us to do is taught us to do is bow down to the money and say, what can we do? Look.
I don't know. He's just.
Yeah, look at the election that just happened. They ain't winning by 20. Like I said, they ain't winning by 20. That's winning by 8,020 because 8,000 people turned out for Labour.
When she came here today, we don't realise that. Yeah, but you spoke about she's still got the power. She's got the power.
They've got the.
She wouldn't even come and meet people today. That's why she's got the power. No, the reason why she has the power.
No. She's got the power because people, and it doesn't have to be many.
Why do you call her Prime Minister? That's my first
I don't call her Prime Minister. I call her the person with the job. Right? She's just the person who's got the job.
I call her ugly bitch. Idiot woman.
Alright, you say your piece.
I wouldn't even call them the government, because I would say that we are the government, That's why I'm trying to pass the power to you. I'm trying to pass the power.
You're not passing it to me.
No.
You and I need to be on the same doorstep.
The reality that we've got is what we all feel. We all feel that we can't make the change, and what we're doing here now is expressing that we can.
But it's no point just talking here.
No. That's how it starts. That's the very thing that they don't want us to do is talk. They try and separate us and keep us in pockets. Any community space that there has been, and I know them because I went to them, where those posh tennis courts are now, where Westwood was, there used to be a dirt bike track. I used to play on there all day. There used to be Lancaster Youth Club. I used to play. I grew up going in and out of there. Any place where there's young people to congregate or groups of people to congregate, they want to shut down, right? So all of a sudden we haven't got places to congregate because communication and cohesion is powerful, and that's how it starts in pockets. You cannot organise a 1 million man march just all like that. It's loads of people coming together. I guarantee you,
if powerless, I tell you that.
We feel powerless because they made us feel powerless.
No, we feel small, I tell you that. We feel small.
Are you talking,
hang on.
Are you talking individually or for a group of people?
No, the problem is because there's no one like getting together. Like now, you got here.
You can pick up a car. You can pick up a car with just human hair. The strand of human hair breaks like that. If you link the hair together, you can pick up the weight of a car. Right? Every strand counts, and that is the point I'm making. That is the point I'm making. And I like speaking in analogies because it makes my point clear. It makes my point clear.
It's happening right across everywhere. Because all the houses,
all the houses,
we let it happen. We let it happen. And the only reason they are in power is we let it happen. Like I said, we outnumber them 2 to 1. If everybody literally just got out of their houses, walked to Parliament, and you had literally 100,000 people on the square talking about this, they would change tomorrow. They would change tomorrow.
It's happening tomorrow.
It's happening tomorrow. It's happening on Tuesday. It's happening on Wednesday.
Change any laws. That's my main.
No. They will have to. They will have to. They will have to. Because here's the thing. If they don't,
we've got a Labour elect in this community, and she can change.
Emma Dent Code.
Just one person.
And that's how you start. And you prop that person up. I'm here, and there's people surrounding me, right? There's people surrounding me because I'm speaking. But if you people weren't here, I'd be talking to myself. I'd be nothing. The only reason what I'm saying has any relevance or credence is because you're listening to me, right? And it's the same thing with Emma Dent Code, right? She's been elected. We owe it to her to get behind her, and everything she does, we support her. We support our leaders.
That's what 2 or 3 of them are going to do, but there's about 500.
No. That's how you start. You've got to start somewhere. Right? And the thing is, we do live in a society where people still have a drawbridge mentality, and we do live in a society where people feel like they can't get involved, or people feel like they'll get in trouble if they get involved or singled out. But the bigger it is, the more people will want to get involved, right? Have you ever what do you call fashion trends, right? You see one person twerking, and then suddenly everyone's doing it. It's the same concept. Like, no offense to anybody, right? But we need leaders, right? People will rally behind leaders if leaders are showing themselves and presenting themselves to do and say the right things. And when those people appear, we have a responsibility to prop them up.